Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. Hoping that everybody's doing well today on a Wednesday as we head through the month of June. And of course, today's June the 27th. Waiting on operator to give us a number if we can.
Sir, I am not finding a Bernie Sullivan in Bradley, Alabama.
Brantley, Alabama. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Have a nice day.
Looking for Bernie Sullivan's number this morning, the mayor of Brantley. As ladies and gentlemen, this whole part of the country is still mourning the loss of this beautiful young lady, Alex Wilcox, star softball player for Brantley for many years, led Brantley to several state championships, went on and played her college ball at Mississippi State, and she lost her bout with cancer this week. But let me tell you this, her legacy will live on until the end of time. That's the headlines of the Montgomery Advertiser today, and so well put, because this young lady made her mark on these young people and older people alike in this part of the country. And of course, everybody knows the story of Alex Wilcox, brilliant young lady, precious young lady, been on this show, and I remember last time she was on our show, I mean, she shook your hand firmly and looked at you straight in the eyes every time she said something to you, and you knew she was special, and her life was special. And let me tell you this, you've heard the old saying that we're much better off for knowing her. That is as true a statement as you can make when talking about Alex Wilcox this morning, the young lady from Brantley. And of course, the whole town mourns, the whole community, whole county mourns, the whole state mourns the loss of a precious child of God. And that's exactly what she is a child of God. She's made her presence known in the to all the young people. She's been an inspiration to everybody out there. And now she goes to live with her Father in heaven, in paradise. And for a job, and how many times have you heard the old saying, what a life well lived? And what a great example and what a great role model this great young person has demonstrated throughout her life. So the name Alex Wilcox will live forever in the hearts and the minds of those that knew her, and there were a lot of people that knew her. She played, of course, at Brantley High School, and of course led them to several state championships, then received a scholarship to play for Mississippi State University, and she played there she played 16 games at Mississippi State while she was fighting this terrible disease. And of course she did it and played and was out and about to everybody up until her last days. And cancer didn't win this battle. God needed her with him. Brantley softball coach Cindy Hawthorne said, and ladies and gentlemen, there'll be so many quotes and so many accolades for this young lady. And the picture on the front page of the Montgomery Advertiser today, and there's Alex Wilcox. What a great example she has made on this earth. And she has been sent here by God, and she will leave here by God, and on into his home in heaven. And again, where we pay tribute to this young lady today. Visitation, for you that are interested in going to the services, the visitation starts at 6 today from the Brantley High School gym.
What? what I do every day.
Good morning. Mike Amos is calling in from Birmingham. Mike, we're talking about Alex Wilcox, the young lady from Brantley. Visitation will be from 6 o'clock until, and I say until, no telling how long this line's going to be, but I think there's so many people that want to pay their last respects. That starts today at 6 p.m. from the Brantley High Gym. Funeral services will be tomorrow from the Brantley High School Gym at 2 o'clock, and burial will be right after that at Dozier Cemetery in Dozier, with Turner Funeral Home of Luverne officiating. My good friend Bernie Sullivan, the mayor of Brantley, I was trying to reach him by phone earlier, and of course I know he had several things to say. Most all the flags everywhere are at half-mast. No One Fights Alone shirts are being sold all over the Brantley community, and in tribute of Alex Wilcox. No One Fights Alone, and that was the trademark of these last months and times with Alex, and how many people from all over the world and all over this part of the country paid their respects to her over these last few months. And again, we're so sad to talk about this today, but ladies and gentlemen, look at it in God's terms. Don't look at it like we look at it. She's in paradise today, sitting right next to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And by faith, we know that she is in heaven. And by faith, we know that she's at the right hand of God. And then we know that, hey, we cannot comprehend the glories and the glories and the glories that she's going through right now in heaven and in paradise. So talk to your children this morning and say, hey, she just fell asleep, and she'll awake one day in paradise. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We'll be back in just a moment.
That was on the Farm Mom show yesterday. They were talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. Dan Smith is coming in here.
They
honored
the...
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Welcome to Trojan Detail.
Hey, I've been hunting. I got my truck filthy. Can you get it?
We surely can. We do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet and Troy Nissan.
You do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet?
Yes, we do.
Hey, I got a motorcycle.
We do them as well.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure do.
Billy Johnson. I know you're not bringing them cow trucks, okay?
I do, and they're like new when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
I'm here at Trojan Detail getting my car detailed.
Bring your vehicle to Trojan Detail. We do it all.
Our huge Ford summer sale is going on right now at Pike County Ford, where you get the best discounts of the summer, 0% on most models. And that's on the #1 truck lineup, 41 years running, the Ford F-Series. You can count on huge savings on the all-new 2018 F-150 with total savings of $12,000. Plus, we have the Pike Promise. We'll beat your best price or give you $5,000. Stop by and find out why Pike County is Ford Country.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Welcome to Trojan Detail.
Hey, I've been hunting. I got my truck filtered. Can you get it?
We surely can. We do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet and Troy Nissan.
You do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet?
Yes, we do.
Hey, I got a motorcycle.
We do them as well.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure do.
Millie Johnson. I know you're not bringing them cow trucks, okay?
I do, and they're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
I'm here at Trojan Detail getting my car detailed.
Bring your vehicle to Trojan Detail. We do it all.
Our huge Ford summer sale is going on right now at Pike County Ford, where you get the best discounts of the summer, 0% on most models. And that's on the #1 truck lineup, 41 years running, the Ford F-Series. You can count on huge savings on the all-new 2018 F-150 with total savings of $12,000. Plus, we have the Pike Promise. We'll beat your best price or give you $5,000. Stop by and find out why Pike County is Ford country.
That Drive Show brought to you by Pike County Ford on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course, boy, they're having a war. Pike County Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram right next door. Two great dealerships.
Yes, sir.
Dan Smith's here, my good friend.
Good morning, Mike.
And, Dan, gosh, before we get going, I take a ride down to Gibsonville this past week. And down the Shellhorn Highway, and I didn't know where I was, man. They have cut down all those trees.
Well, there has been a little bit of a land clearing and a little bit of development going on.
Because you hunted and fished in those lands for a long time, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because that's where you were raised and so forth, and in that part of the area. And of course, I call it Gibsonville because all those Gibsons still live
right.
there, don't
yes,
they?
Sir.
And of course, you live right across the street.
We sure did.
I was visiting Rusty. Rusty. Of course, you knew Rusty. You were younger, but you probably knew who he was. Probably looked up to him, didn't you? Good-looking guy, and went on to law school at Alabama. And he came back for the funeral. His cousin's wife died. Of course, we know. And our prayers and thoughts are still with them. But Rusty said that he just could not believe this place, how this place has grown. You see somebody that hadn't been back in a long time, it's hard for them to comprehend where it was at one time and where it is now. It is just amazing.
It is. There's just a lot of growth and progress in Troy, and just very blessed.
Of course, I have been around Bo Gaylord's boys a little bit lately, and of course that they've grown up just like he was. They love ball, and they got the kids in ball, and so forth. But and we look back over Bo's legacy and what a legacy he left.
A tremendous vision. That's
exactly.
You can look at the facilities that we have today are a result of his vision. But he just definitely knew he was the right person in the right place at the right time.
Exactly right. Mike, I'm going to put you on hold for a second. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm good. This is Bernie Sullivan.
Bernie Sullivan. Gosh, isn't it great, Bernie? The mayor of Brantley is calling in today. And, Bernie, I hate to talk to you on such a sad note. You and I go way back, and, I know how your heart feels today. This young lady made her mark on life in this part of the country.
Yes, Mike, I tell you, Brantley family have heavy hearts today and have the last few days, and this will go on for a good while. Yes, she meant a great deal to the town of Brantley. She put Brantley on the map for all the positive reasons, and I, of course, as you know, we've been close to the Wilcox family ever since Sean's mother and dad and myself. So yes, it's a tough day for Brantley.
I tell you, though, you can't help but just marvel at the kind of life she lived and how many kids and how many adults along she touched with what would be something that would cost her life. But boy, did she live her life abundantly while she was here.
She certainly did. As I said, I have no words to adequately describe how she lived her life, and she never asked why. To me, it was why not me, and she carried that flag and anthem right up to the end, smiling. And when she was visited in the hospital at UAB, that never give up attitude. And that's what you always seen on the basketball as well as the softball and the volleyball, anytime athletically.
I don't know how many state tournaments or state championships she was involved in, 5 or 6 at least. Isn't that right?
She was definitely basketball, and 4 out of the 5. Of course, the last one that we lost in the 5 years, she was unable to play the last game, as you recall, because she was under chemo. But I tell you, it's a tribute to Sean and Leanne, her mother and father, and also Coach Cindy Hawthorne and the Brantley family. And then, of course, she has a sister that's going to South Alabama, Cassidy. And, the Wilcox family means a lot to Brantley, Alabama.
Well, this saying "no one fights alone" is going to last for a long time in the Brantley area. Don't you agree?
I agree. It sure will. I have one in my office, and I just look over there every so often and think about it. When you lose loved ones to cancer, you realize how important it is to have that support. And I think Alex realized how important her hometown family, plus Mississippi State, plus nationally, the Bolts. I mean, Mike, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it is amazing. She was on my show 2 or 3 years ago. In fact, Nate Renfro was on with her, and they drove over from Brantley, and I felt like I was touched by an angel. I'm telling you. This was back when it was pretty much almost arrested at that time. They had it under control, and gosh, what a presence she made. It was like she was an angel.
Yeah, when you're around her, it almost glowed, didn't it?
Yeah. You went through a terrible situation.
Think about an angel, you feel that glow.
You went through a very tough situation yourself in your own life. I know what you've been through yourself, and this just sort of makes it, opens it up again, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does, and I get real emotional.
There's nothing wrong with that, my friend.
But it's it's tough. But Cindy had a great quote. Cancer didn't win, God did.
Yeah, God did. You're exactly right.
So, Mike, listen, thank you for bringing to the attention of those that care, and that's probably everybody. And also remember that nobody ever fights alone, and let's find a cure for ovarian cancer.
No question about it. Dan Smith sitting right next to me with the Troy Parks and Recreation Department, and your flags are going to be at a half-mast today because of this young lady.
Yes, sir.
It'll be at half-mast through Sunday evening.
Yeah. Real quickly, the visitation starts at 6 o'clock tonight, and no telling how many people are going to be there, but hey, I tell you what, I wouldn't doubt if downtown Brantley will be overflowing.
Oh, it will, and
need some people out there with a lot of cold water. Need some water, folks. Yeah.
And that's where the funeral will be the following day at 2 o'clock, and repose at 1, and the family at the Bethany Center, our Methodist church here.
All right, so the funeral will be at 2 o'clock from the gym or the Methodist Church?
From the gym.
From the gym, and of course that'll be on tomorrow.
The family will be at the Methodist Bethany Center there for lunch and during the repose, I guess.
Bernie, does that gym have a name for it yet?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, brother. Hey, does that gym have a name for it?
No, I don't. It's called Bulldog right now, and it does our softball field.
You're exactly right, my friend. Thank you so very much for calling. You break my heart, buddy, I tell you. And
we love your show, too. I watch it often.
Well, hey, let me tell you, Bernie, you and I go way back. Well, I appreciate you, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You talk about talking to somebody with a broken heart.
Yes, sir. That's a tough situation.
This young lady touched the lives of everybody. Dan Smith's with us. We're going to be bringing in our brother Rice. Aren't you glad that he's back in town?
Very much so.
Bill Rice, of course. All three of us are people that like to write stuff down on paper.
Yes, sir.
And you like to take pictures, like a few people. We've got the newspaper, the recreation director, and the TV guy talking about the great things in our community called Troy, Alabama.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll make it quick because I know.
He's just going to come in. In fact, come on in here. I'm going to pull you over, and you just come right in here as we talk. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Come see us at Don Walker Western Wear. From boots, jeans, and jackets to shirts, hats, and belts, we're your headquarters for Western wear for the entire family. With the largest selection of jeans in town, we carry famous brands like Wrangler, Levi, Carhartt, Ariat, and Cinch. We've also got plenty of styles of boots to choose from, including Justin, Lucchese, Ariat, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Dan Post, and Corral. So come on into Don Walker Western Wear, located on Highway 231 in Troy.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our...
Yeah. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Smith has joined us, and of course now Bill Rice Jr. Is back in town, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Rice is moving his family back to Troy, and one of the great things that he's got. How old are your children?
2.5 and almost 7.
And hey, don't you know they love that pool out there, and then that the park, where you have the spray park. What do you call it?
Splash pad out of the sportsplex. Yes, sir.
And of course, a lot of the kids enjoy that facility. And Bill, when you were growing up, we didn't have these things.
No.
But nobody any closer than Bo Gaylord than Bill Rice was. I reckon at one time.
Yes,
that family, and through vision of Bo Gaylord and Dan, and we have some of the best facilities around.
I know y'all are talking about the tournament teams. Probably the happiest memory of growing up in Troy for me was being on a Dixie Youth Tournament team when I was 12 years old, and that team happened to finish second in the state. We almost won a state championship, coached by Bo Gaylord, among other people, and that was just an experience and memory of a lifetime, being on that team.
And it just so happens that Bo Gaylord's wife, Marcia, who runs the economic development program here in Pike County, has hired this guy to come back to Troy.
That is great. That is awesome.
And you know, there's another Gaylord connection. I became the sports editor, which Dan was once the sports editor of the Messenger, after Wes was my roommate in Montgomery. I graduated from Troy and was briefly going to Jones Law School and working at my brother's investment banking firm. And Wes and Charles Bradshaw and I were living in an apartment on Fairview Avenue. I didn't like law school. And he came home one day and he said, "Bill, I hear that there's a sports editor opening at the Troy Messenger. You ought to apply for that."
Yeah.
And I did. And
so you got some gurus, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to print media. The recreation department. I grew up working in the recreation department. I've been writing sports for years. And in fact, I got an article coming out soon about the Baptist Children's Home that I think you'll enjoy. And, you know, and of course, Dan grew up under these same programs and same people. And I don't know.
Mike was my baseball coach in Farm League over at Knox Street.
I know it. Well, yeah, man. I just threw the ball out. Y'all have fun, guys. But it was something. We had 25 people on the team, I believe, something like that. Of course, I've known this guy all my life, all his life, because you know, up there in Trojan Terrace, you've heard of Smith Brothers
Smith Brothers Body Works.
Body Works. For all those years, and that was
my dad and my uncle.
Yeah, all right. One of them's name was
well, my dad was James Moon
Smith and
William Coote Smith.
And where did Coote Smith and where did Moon Smith come from?
It was when they were in the Army. They got, I guess it was mandatory. You had a nickname.
And then, of course, Ingram's restaurant and truck stop was right next to that. And
Trojan Terrace was a thriving place back in the 50s.
Then you had the candy company. Hobbs Candy Company was right there.
That's where I bought my first baseball glove, was Hobbs Candy Company.
And Don Hobbs. And then, of course, there was Bob's Cafe, barbecue place right there on the corner. And then there was Ivy's store and Davis's store up there on the corner. And I lived right there on Orion Street.
Well, I'm not sure. It was 231 wasn't.
That's where it was before the bypass. That's where it came. That was a busy.
That's how you came into Troy.
Busy time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know, the entrance ways are still there.
Right.
Those brick entrance ways. And of course, only Rice and you could appreciate this. I don't know about you. You'll hear all this about the history of Troy, but I was awfully proud to live in that neighborhood. My Aunt Emma Lou lived up on Sun Street. Jerry Renfro lived up on Sun Street.
I'm sure Troy probably started in the Murphy Park, College Street area.
That's right.
And expanded that way and just grown this way.
Pete Farrow lived right across the street from me and built his home right there on White Drive across the street from me. And I'll throw something into you. You know how you used to see helmets, football helmets in the Sears Roebuck catalog. You think, gosh, I wish I had that football uniform with that helmet, when I was a little kid. And one day, I was out in my front yard, and I noticed Pete Farrow, who was the recreation director at that time, across the street, had a bunch of colored objects over there. I mean, red, blue, green, gold. And I walked over there, and they were football helmets, and he was putting face guards on, and I could not believe it. A brand new football helmet, a blue football helmet with a white streak down the middle of it, was Knox Street. A gold helmet he was putting face guards on had a blue streak down it, and that was Murphy Park. And then he had some red helmets over there he was putting face masks on, and had a white stripe down the middle, and that was College View, the home and the College View. And the other helmet was green helmet with a white stripe down it, and that was Brundage Street. There were 4 teams: Brundage Street, Knox Street, College View, and Murphy Park. The rich kids played for Murphy Park.
Well, who was the best team? Who was?
Hey, Knox Street, who I played quarterback. Hey, listen, I played on the team. Listen to this. This sounds like it's not fair. I was a quarterback, and how in the world I became quarterback, but I was. I was the quarterback. The fullback was Charles Ammons. Y'all remember Charles Ammons, big guy.
Yes.
The running backs were Rusty Gibson and Sonny Willowwood. Now you know the rest of the story.
Athletes.
But a few years before, though, Murphy Park had a guy named Jerry Rose. Do you remember Jerry Rose?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, what a great player he was. And Bobby, Tommy, the Archer boys and all that, but they were good too. But making a short story, we went up through the ranks. You know.
Yes, sir. Those are a lot of great athletes.
What you've done with the rec department, and you're on the outside end. Tell us what you see from what we've got here in Troy now.
Well, the transformation over the last 20, 25 years has been remarkable. I mean, I heard y'all talking about Bo and his vision, and it was Bo's vision, and then Dan took that vision and made it a reality. And the facilities are as good as any town in America of this size. And so that you talk about our small children, they will just grow up and using those facilities.
Exactly. And I'll tell you something about it, Dan, and I know we're going to talk about these tournament teams and how well they're doing. And of course, you know, it all started though with the vision of Bo and so forth. But when y'all were when they were planning this rec center at which I wish it would be called the Bo Gaylord Rec Center. I wish
absolutely
one day. That rec center, you kept backing off. I don't know if you remember this. You know, they said we're going to hold off and we're going to look at something else. They waited till the thing was done right. Now, if we would have gone with some of the initial plans, we wouldn't have had near what we've got now.
Right.
Is that right?
Well, it's true.
And people said, why are y'all waiting so long? Well, they were waiting to make it right, make it something special. Isn't that right?
Well, of course. And when you talk about the growth of Troy and the facilities and the infrastructure of Troy, Mayor Jimmy Lunsford and Mayor Jason Reeves, they listen and have listened to what recreation and the people of Troy wanted, and they waited until they knew it could be done right.
Exactly right. And you remember at first you didn't have the weight facilities and the wellness facilities. Now they've added the wellness facilities, which are state of the art, as good as any. Talking about the weight equipment and the
fitness
and the fitness and cardio and everything. We've got it set up now where I don't know if anything else we could do.
Well, it's we want to make sure that there are opportunities for the children, the adults, and the seniors in park and recreation. Our motto is everybody. Everybody doesn't play baseball and softball, so
That's right.
We want to have something for everybody to do.
No question about it, and it's just simply spectacular. And of course, the playground equipment they've got. I don't know if you can go anywhere in the country and find better playground equipment, where you can just drop by and let your little child run, have a good time, and then they'll, it's as good as there is out there. And then of course, Troy is one of the very few people or towns in the country that have this Miracle Field.
Well, the Miracle League Field and the Miracle League Playground are a result of the giving hearts of the people of Troy that donated the money for the Miracle League Field and the playground, so we could build both of those.
I didn't get to see it, but the Miracle League went to Riddle Pace Field one night during the season, and I wasn't there, but what I heard from that was one of the most remarkable things in the world, to see these college athletes hug these kids and be a part of that program.
Yes, sir. And the Miracle League, of course, is our baseball league for children and adults of special needs. And their motto is everybody deserves a chance to play baseball. Yeah. And it's Troy University, and the partnership with the university and the community is, I don't know of any other college and university that has that relationship with the community. And it's Coach Mark Smart that called us and said, "Hey, we want to have the Miracle League at Riddle Pace Field."
Yeah.
So he's a Trojan,
no question,
and his family, and we appreciate them very much.
Yeah, and of course there's a story behind a lot of that too. About his son's development. And of course, before we get started, how about those Tiger Sharks, Troy's swim team? And you folks out there that wanted to get your kids involved in swimming, we've got as good a program as it is anywhere right here in Troy.
Yes, sir. Well, Mike, I tell you what, let me give a whirlwind tour of everything going on in recreation for about 5 minutes, and then I will turn it over to Mr. Bill over here, because I'd love to hear what he's got to say. It's great to have him back in town and to see him again.
Okay.
Our swim team had a meet in Troy last night against Andalusia, and really got off to a great start, but only got to swim for about 30 minutes. And as you can tell from the pictures in the Troy Messenger, we had a storm came rolling in. It didn't rain, but the lightning was close, so everybody had to get out of the pool, and we had to cancel the meet.
Oh, I hate that.
But before we came on air, we were talking about a young lady named Addie Bruner.
Yeah.
And I believe she's age 14 and just a remarkable athlete. And we believe that it's so great to have many opportunities, because everybody doesn't play softball, everybody doesn't play baseball, and the swim team is an example of children finding an activity that they're good at and they love doing. And Addie is a wonderful swimmer and has, I know some colleges are already looking at her.
And she's just a ninth grader, isn't she? Something like that.
I believe so. And she is ranked, I was told, in the top 10 in the nation.
Isn't that amazing?
In some of her events.
From Troy, Alabama, coming through that program. And, it all goes back to good instructors. They've had some good ones on there.
Shane Tatum at Troy University has been instrumental in her development, as well as I'm sure she's had some other people. And in our fitness center, Jonah McWhorter.
Yeah.
Addie Bruner works out at our fitness center with her mom, and to be just a young swimmer and athlete. She's got a lot of bright future and promise. Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm saying you can never tell. She might be in the Olympics one day.
Well, I believe the ideal excuse me, situation would be for her to maybe get to go to Auburn University and swim and get to try out for, I guess they call it the Olympic trials. So
of course, you got a long ways to go, but hey, we're going to enjoy watching her get there, aren't we?
Excuse me, yes, sir. Yeah. And we're just proud for her and all of our swimmers. They're getting ready for district.
But how many kids total are in the swim program?
I believe we've got about 40 this year.
That is great.
Yes, sir.
See, again, a sport that everybody doesn't play but participate in, but we've got 40 people in the swim program.
And they have a lot of fun, and they're getting ready for district. That's going to be down in Dothan in a couple of weeks. And then from district will be state. So we're excited for them. And the other headline to the right, it says Ponytails battle Zion Chapel and weather. That was last night. Our 12 and under girls played last night. They lost their first game in the district tournament and fought through the losers bracket, and they lost to Greenville in the first game of the tournament. And so last night they came back and they won the first game. They beat the host team, Zion Chapel, and had to play 2 games last night. And in one of the best softball games I've ever seen last night, Troy and our 12-year-olds beat Greenville 2-0. And it was a very exciting game. So we won the district tournament last night, and our Ponytails are one of. We started with 17 tournament teams for boys and girls about 2 weeks ago. And today, 15 of those 17 teams are still playing.
That is remarkable, and that means most of them are in state tournaments.
Yes,
is
sir.
that right?
Yes, sir. There's only one district that has not been played, and that's the headline in the Messenger. They do such a great job of covering our local kids, and 14-year-old Dixie Boys team ready for district. That begins. The tournament begins Friday, but we get a bye on Friday, and we play Saturday.
and you look at this, coached by Chris Huner. Everything the Nelsons and the Huners touch, they win. I mean, isn't it phenomenal, these coaches, of course.
Yes, sir.
And Daniel Wilson is also, and Herb Huner. Herb is still coaching. And Stephen McKinnon all coaching. And, of course, Brady Barron, Nate Breston, Adrian Carwell, Chase Shiraka, Brady Huner, Jaden Jordan, Skylar Kidd, Darrell Lee, Noah Presswood, Ben Reeves, Jeffrey Warwick, and J.D. Wilson representing that 14-year-old team.
Yes, sir. We're excited for them. They have a lot of talent. And Mike, here's a rundown of the teams that are still in the hunt. Our 6 and under coach pitch team goes to state at Enterprise.
That's July the 5th.
Yes, sir.
That's the day after the 4th.
Then we got 4 teams going to Oxford for what are called the rookie tournaments, and 8 and under rookies. Then the 8 and under coach pitch team that used to be pitching machine league.
Exactly. Yeah.
They have state in Dothan July 6th. Then the AAA 9 and 10-year-old Americans. That's the rookie team. They go to state in Oxford. And the rookie nationals also go to Oxford. The 9 and 10-year-old, this is a David Nelson coach team.
Yeah.
AAA Americans, they go to Eufaula for the state tournament. Then our 11 and 12-year-olds used to be called Dixie Youth League, is now Dixie Youth Ozone.
I love that.
Now the rookies go to Oxford, and the Ozone team goes to state in Greenville. Our 13-year-old Dixie boys go to state in Enterprise. 14-year-old district is this weekend in Dothan, and the 15 and under team goes to the World Series.
Already in the World Series in
Ozark.
Yes, so that's great. That's on July the 19th.
Yes, sir.
And, the Oxford, Alabama, you better get ready because there's a bunch of folks from Troy coming to Oxford, which is right there off I-20, of course, right there at Anniston, but isn't that something?
And then our girls teams, we're hosting 3 of the girls softball state tournaments. The Sweeties are 5 and 6-year-olds. The Darlings are 7 and 8-year-olds. The Bells are 13, 14, and 15-year-olds. And then, as we were just saying, our Ponytails, one district, they'll be going to state in Eufaula, and all of those begin July 6th.
Yeah. Oh, boy. You mean you've got a tournament team for 5 and 6-year-old girls?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that something?
It's gotten younger and younger. Yeah. It has. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, now what we're saying, these are teams that have already advanced. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of those 15 have already advanced to the state tournament already.
Yes, sir.
So that means they have beaten a lot of teams down here to get that way. And, boy, what a rivalry everybody's been talking about between Troy and Enterprise.
We had a great weekend this past weekend. Things have evolved over the years, and we have sub-districts in baseball for the 8 and under, the 9 and 10, which is AAA, and 11 and 12, which is Ozone. So we had a sub-district for the East. District was divided into East and West. And, of course, Enterprise won all 3 of their divisions, and Troy won all 3 of our divisions. So we met in Troy this past Friday and Saturday for a best 2 out of 3 in each age group, and we won 2 of those 3 divisions and lost the other one in a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah, exactly.
We won 3 games. So good friends in Enterprise, great talent, great baseball.
In fact, you'll know this. The guy that runs the Enterprise program used to work for Dan.
Billy Powell.
Yeah. And listen, and his wife, his maiden name was Talbot.
Rip Talbot.
Rip Talbot's daughter. And what a great program. But you've got Enterprise, of course, it's growing by leaps and bounds. Troy's growing. But we're outgrowing some things now. We're having to have more than one league represented. We have to have 2 leagues now, and so does Enterprise. Isn't that right?
Well, and that's a great thing to have, because if you had too many kids in one age group, then in Montgomery or Dothan, if they only had one tournament team, it would be a phenomenal tournament team. but it's if you have over 5 teams, and then you have to have a second league,
which is unreal. And for all these teams, of course, on this show tomorrow, we'll have a cake sale to raise money for this one of these teams that are going. I think they're going to. This is Wally Lowry's team, and we're going to have a cake auction starting right here at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So, need for you to call in and buy a cake.
They're going
this
to
morning.
Oxford. Wally and his team are.
But let me tell you something about this guy right here, Bill. You know it well. I believe your first love. Of course, you played and you coached, but you love to take pictures. You're a photographer, a professional photographer. Not only is he the rec director, he is taking pictures. You've probably taken thousands of pictures this year, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where did you get that love? Back when you were working with a messenger, or what?
When I was probably, and it's a great question, because when I was in middle school, maybe, at the schools, they would give you these pamphlets of magazines you could subscribe to, and I would get Sports Illustrated, and I promise you, I never read a story, but I looked at the pictures, and I would be amazed at the photography of Sports Illustrated.
Exactly.
But anyway, I got started in college with photography.
Yeah. Dan is good enough to be a photographer for Sports Illustrated.
I mean, he really is. I mean, really, he is a good. Let me just share something with you. This is a book, what you call it?
Hardback book.
Hardback book of the 2017 season at Troy. Now, this is very few of these are out, but if you'd like to get it. But looking down here, some of these pictures are remarkable, and of course, pictures tell a story.
And I don't know how many, but a lot of those pictures are going to be by Joey Meredith.
Yeah, and I love Joey Meredith, don't you?
He is a Pike County product, a Pike County High School graduate, and recently was named Director of Photography.
And I love that.
Well, that is, it's exciting when something is done right and fair, and for him to be named Director of Photography is a great thing. Because he has not only an eye, but his ability to interact with his subjects, and he gets just the best pictures.
And it goes all the way from the beginning of the season to the bowl game, and it takes pictures of the bowl game. And this is a keepsake that you can find, but only a guy like Dan can appreciate it even more because of the different pictures. But what Bill Rice is looking at over here, I guarantee you, I know him well. How many different uniforms did Troy have? Let me tell you this. Troy went out with 10 different uniforms this year. I mean, might have been a helmet here, or a jersey here, or a pair of pants here, or whatever. 10 different uniforms. And you saw all those different helmets and all that. And I could see him saying, gosh, where'd they get all those uniforms? Have you ever seen anything like it?
I know we're all excited about Troy University football and what Coach Brown has done. And Coach Brown's daughters play on 2 of our tournament teams and do a great job.
He's over there all the time.
Yes, sir.
Again, we can be so proud. Now, one thing that I want you to hear, now, Rice, you'll get a kick out of this now, and I'm going to mention this. It happened a few weeks ago. You had a high school tournament in here and had how many teams? 56?
Well, actually, it was 52 teams.
52 teams from all over the state of Alabama came in here for the district.
High school super regional.
Super regional. And we went out. I went out there that night. What, 6,000 people? How many people?
Probably so. It was.
I've never seen so many people. You could not even walk. It was a girls' tournament, high school tournament.
Softball, fast pitch.
But what I'm bragging about is what we've been able to do here with our facilities. Our facilities, we have what, 8 fields?
Well, there are 7 fields at the sports place plus the Miracle League field.
And then they had games going into 1 and 2 o'clock at night, and he's got a professional crew that can handle wet weather better than anybody I've ever seen.
They really do.
I mean, boy, you ought to see them at the end. They look like mud bath guys, but they do almost a professional job of keeping these tournaments going because of the rain.
Think about the economic impact that has.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. The impact was unbelievable, the kind of money they spent in our community.
And Mike, changing subjects slightly, when we talk about people coming into Troy, July 4th is next week.
Exactly.
And we have our fireworks show at Veterans Memorial Stadium is one of the recommended viewing areas. The shooter will be on the campus of Charles Henderson High School, and I know y'all have people all the way up on Crow Hill watching. We have people over at the Lunsford Tennis Complex watching, down at the Lagoon. I know the Hickson family,
all the way at Banks,
they get out on a hillside in Banks, Alabama, and watch our fireworks show. Parking lot at Walmart is full. There's a lot of viewing locations, and that's
and they have to have a highway patrolman working with traffic on Highway 231 South, because so many cars are coming. You know how busy that road is. They're pulling off the side of the road to watch the fireworks, and now they have to have a highway patrolman out there working with the traffic.
And Mike, I mentioned this a little while ago when we were talking about the recreation center, but it's the same thing with our tournament teams and our fireworks. Mayor Jason Reeves and our city council are so enthusiastic about supporting recreation, leisure time opportunities, and we got a lot of ideas, but we couldn't do it without the support of Mayor Reeves, and the city council is just so on board.
I don't know if there's any town anywhere the size of Troy that have more fireworks during the year. I mean, the university has it during football season. You have it during tournament teams. Now, the giant 4th of July ceremonies, and what you do, you get out early and picnic, and then when it gets dark, here comes these fireworks, and you're right on top of it. I tell this story so many times. I'm riding down George Wallace Drive one day, and I had forgotten that they were going to have a opening ceremony, and it was right there on the field at Riddle Place Field, and the fireworks. And here I am driving down the road, and I said, "What is happening?" And all these fireworks were going on, and I'd forgotten they'd done it. And then I thought we were going to war. I didn't know.
That was 98, I believe, 1998. And we were having opening ceremonies for one of our World Series.
I'm going to throw another thing out. You know, we're so proud to have our cloggers, and Troy is considered the clog capital of America. I promise you. I'm going to the mountains next week and see. But Troy, Alabama is the clog capital of the world, and I went to and we took part in a program years ago where we had a state tournament coming in, and Pat Dye was the speaker. And you remember this? And this little old clogging group came out and said, "Put me in, coach. Bum 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 bum. You know, put me in, coach." And he goes up to speak, and he said, "Man," he said, "I don't want to have to follow this. I'm going to sit back down, and I want them to play another song."
I was there.
I mean, Pat Dye was taken by that, that production, and ever since, that clogging group has been one of the best in the country.
Yes, they have.
That was the Dixie Boys World Series.
That's right.
In 95.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I was in Troy Elementary.
And nobody more. He's just like Bear Bryant. It was like Bear Bryant walking up to the podium, and he said, "I'm not going to follow that. I'm going to sit down. I want him to play another song."
Pat Dye speaking, which was a coup to get him.
Yeah.
And then those young ladies, they were probably 12, 13, 14 years old. I just remember all the players from the 12 states that were there.
Yeah.
They were all just, lovesick over the girl.
And it was a perfect song, "Put Me in, coach," and it was just a perfect song. And boy, that's just part of history, I reckon.
Yes, sir. Mike, I know we could talk all morning, and I want to thank you for everything you do for your show and the people of Troy, but you got a really special guest here that I'm excited.
He's going to start coming on regular.
Well, and I'm glad, and Bill, it is great to have you back in Troy.
But before you leave now,
something
very important. This is this girls softball now. Hey, you think that parents follow boys, hey, you ought to watch them follow girls. And this is coming to Troy on the 5th of...
next Friday, July 6th.
July the 6th.
It's our state tournament.
And how many teams will be here?
26 teams here for that.
26 teams now.
And it's last night, I got to go back to last night's game. Those girls were 11 and 12, and the softball they were playing was amazing. The plays they were making, 11 and 12-year-old girls. I told the coach, they had them in a rundown. They had one of the plays, And I'm going to ask y'all this in a baseball rundown: how many times on defense should you throw the ball?
3 times.
Well, 2 times I've heard you should never throw it more than twice, and that's what they did. And it was a great rundown play. And I told the coaches, I said, there are college and high school teams that don't get that play right.
That's right. But hey, 26 teams. Listen, they're gonna bring their mamas, their daddies, their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, and all. They're gonna bring. Each team's gonna bring 20 players on the team, and then all of those people that come in with each one of them to go to the state tournament. There'll be 3,000 people here, 4,000.
Easily, and we're very excited to be hosting the state tournament. And if people need more information, just they can go to our website at troyrecreation.org or call me at the recreation department.
Hint, city fathers, we got to have more motels in Troy. But thank goodness for Troy University.
Yes, sir.
They help a lot with being able to provide rooms for these kids to stay in. Yeah. That's why we can do this. Isn't that right?
During the Super Regional, we had many teams stay on campus at Troy University.
But before you leave, I've got to say this. And, of course, this guy's the father of ozone. Do you know what ozone is, Bill?
Well,
all right. Tell him what you did.
Well, Dixie Youth, of course, as we're familiar with, when the pitcher was on the mound, you had to have your foot on the base and you could not run until the ball was thrown. And with ozone, what they've done is incorporated the real rules of baseball. You can lead off, the mound is back from 46 feet to 50 feet. And just some of those real baseball rules are allowed, and everybody immediately went to ozone. And
Montgomery's finally gone to ozone, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
A lot of them held out a while, but the ozone is the real baseball. These kids are learning. They pitch from the stretch.
You're right. You can. Okay. When I was here, the big thing that was happening that was controversial at the time was the move away from slow pitch softball to fast pitch softball.
Exactly.
And Johnny White came to my office one day.
Johnny White.
In 1996, and he has a daughter named Betsy.
That's right.
And Betsy was really good. And he said, Dan, we're being unfair to the girls because you go from slow pitch to college and high school ball, which is fast pitch. He said the girls don't have a chance if they play slow pitch, and then how are they going to be recruited for fast pitch?
Made it an entirely different game.
His meeting with me, we went to fast pitch in Troy that year.
Sure did. You won the first round to do that.
In our district, we were, yes, sir.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, they're giving 15 scholarships to every college in the country to play girls softball, and look what it's done.
Well, and anything that we have in Troy is a result of ideas of people. The walking trails, the playgrounds, fitness center, and the ball fields. The people of Troy have, Eric Mizell came to see us one day.
I love Eric.
He said, soccer's great, but why don't we play flag football? And we offered flag football, and it just exploded.
Sure did. And now talking about soccer, thank goodness our rec programs have a good soccer program. In fact, there's some people moving in to Troy this week. There are 2 girls that play soccer. Now, none of the schools provide girls soccer.
Well, I think it's combined. I know there's a number of girls I think that play on the varsity at Charles Henderson, but not a true girls team. No,
and what I'm saying, soccer is such a big sport now. Now, hopefully that our high schools will get involved, because already the girl rec program, y'all have got a good soccer program, don't you?
Well, again, the parents and coaches support it, and we couldn't do it without the parents because the kids can't sign themselves up, the kids can't drive themselves to practice or games, and the parents across the board in all sports are very supportive of what we offer. And travel ball is alive and well across the nation. And what I say, my philosophy is, you can do both. You can play. Right. I was talking to Sydney Garrett last night.
Yeah.
Her dad is the assistant coach of the Ponytails, Terry Garrett, and she plays a lot of travel ball. But she told me last night, she said, I miss rec ball so much.
That's right, because you're representing your town,
She's an assistant coach, and with rec ball, you're playing with your friends, your classmates, and then some great tournament ball in rec ball, and then you can play travel ball.
Sure, all
summer
ball, whatever.
Right. You can do both.
One thing though, I want to say been the key to it all was that trip to Casey Park in
Rock Hill,
South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, when we saw them take a softball complex, back the pitcher's mound up, and put a mound on that softball complex, and then baseball and base pads back them up, and then when we came back to Troy, we had a fabulous baseball facility with 300-foot fences already there. They're taking a softball complex and making it into a baseball complex, and that's the rest of the story.
I remember the day after that World Series in South
Troy
Carolina.
won it.
I was there.
In '91, and Bo Gaylord came back to the office. He said, "Dan," he said, "we can do that at the Sportsplex."
Right.
And that's when we hosted.
And again, the innovation of Bo Gaylord spread across the country. Everybody started doing it, but we already had a fabulous. And look what it's done for our community. Look what it's done for the taxpayers of our community, because right now we're able to do a lot of things that a lot of people are not able to do because of the tax base that is enhanced through recreation programs.
Well, again, it goes back to the people. They're just so supportive, and you look at Pike County Lake, how Jason Reeves.
Tell us about that.
Well, have you seen Pike County Lake lately?
I understand that there's a lot going on, but no, I haven't been out there.
Bill, you've got to ride out there. You won't
easiest
recognize
fishing
it.
in the world, right there.
It is a remarkable, just beautiful facility. It just has turned 2 years old since the grand reopening and renovation. There's it's like a lodge out there now, the Bait House and Conference Center, and the fish are just huge.
I hear that there.
In 2 years, they've gone from about 8-inch bass to 8-pound bass.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? And the thing about it is, it's so easy. A father could take his 2 kids out there today, and they furnish them with the cane pole, the crickets to fish with, and you'll be catching brim in 5 minutes after you get there.
Awesome.
But what I'm saying, they also rent out boats. It is a first-class facility.
Well, the state of Alabama manages the water, and they're constantly coming in and checking the quality of the water and the size and weight of the fish, and they fertilize it and do everything that they should, and it is, to me, just remarkable how they've gone from a small size fish to 8 pounds in 2 years.
I know, it's amazing, and that's what fertilizer will do. I tell you what, no question about it. And of course, it is a beautiful facility, and it's located just a few miles south of Troy at the Pike County Lake, and of course, it's run by the Troy Recreation Department. That was an endeavor that you didn't know you were going to be.
Well,
you knew you were going to be doing bats and balls, but you didn't know you were going to be doing crickets and wigglers.
Well, bass and brim.
Yeah, from bats and balls to bass and brim.
And that's about the best place in town to buy your crickets now, I'm telling you.
Well, I know Jab still sells bait, and we also sell bait. We have people come out to the lake just to buy bait.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you something about, I'm a senior, and I turned 71 yesterday, and I'm proud to be alive. I'm just proud to be here, ladies and gentlemen. But something that is nice is this silver
sneakers.
Silver sneakers, where through certain insurance policies, they provide you with a silver sneaker, and I can go use this facility free.
And Bill, what that means is, like, if you have Blue Cross C+, that's a supplemental insurance, Blue Cross will mail you a card called a Silver Snickers card.
In fact, I've got one in my back pocket.
And there's many other insurance companies that provide the Silver Snickers card, and you can come to the Recreation Center and use the entire facility at no charge, and that insurance company will reimburse us, because obviously
that's what it is right there.
If people are exercising, then hopefully their insurance premiums will be, their insurance claims will be down.
Yeah. At the post office yesterday, the great one, Winley Wade Tatum, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the Troy Rec Center every day at 4:30 and walks about 6 or 8 miles. I don't know exactly how
he does.
But it has enhanced his life. and it's enhanced the lives of so many people to be able to walk in an air-conditioned facility, hearing 50s and 60s music, and then go and get on a stationary bike and watch the news on TV. Every one of these bike situations has a television set right in front of you. I mean, you got more TVs than your place anywhere in Troy, don't you?
Well, there are a few there, yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
I tell you, you've done a wonderful job, and I know I've kept you today, but
no, I'm
let me tell you this: people need to know what's happening in our community, and we are so proud to have our facility that you've been running. Now, this is a big difference, and you'll agree. When Bo worked at, ran the recreation department, how many employees? Full time?
Probably 5 or 6, maybe.
Yeah, and then part time?
Maybe 30.
All right, how many people do you employ?
We have 14 full time and about 120 part time.
Can you believe that?
Because we've got 26 lifeguards and I believe 45 summer day camp workers, and we have over 100 children per day at our summer day camp.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
At the rec center, and they don't just play kickball and go swimming and watch movies. They also learn.
Exactly. Let's go to you on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi, man. I was just calling back.
Mike, I got Dan Smith and Bill Rice Jr. We've really had a lot of fun talking about our rec program and how it's grown. You're a disciple of the rec program, where it was at one time and where it is now. How do you compare it?
Well, I mean, it was great growing up in Troy, and played for a lot of great coaches throughout my youth, and a lot of my coaches were Troy State coaches. I had Rick Rhodes as a coach, I had Chan Gailey as a coach.
That's right, coaching ball, yeah.
And then when I was at T-ball, I think I had Riley Green as my first coach.
Yeah, you were a good friend of you.
He was a teammate of mine on the Astros. And
yeah.
Man, we were a part of the Jays, and then of course pretty much the rest of my career, Mike Amos was my coach.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, you're right. On the big red
my best games when you were out of town on business.
Yeah, yeah.
Jimmy Messick was my coach.
But that's been the key, and something that Dan and I've talked about. I wish maybe one day we could honor this, all these groups of unbelievable coaches. We lost a great one recently to Mr. Meadows when he died. Boy, what a great coach he was, and it just don't happen. You look at Brian Meadows, and you made the major league, but he had a daddy that was a real good coach.
Oh, and Brian is one in a million, and Mr.
He works
Edwin,
for you, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Edwin, Mr. Edwin Meadows was a remarkable man.
Yeah. Have you ever been around a more humble guy than Brian Meadows? He pitched in the major leagues for 8-10 years, and I mean, you wouldn't know the difference. He's one of your regular employees. He's out there raking off the base pads.
Yes, sir. He's a great man.
And of course, I know you're proud of of the people that work for you, and of course.
So I guess I played for Sam Kitchens too. I don't know how you forget Sam. How many years has he been coaching now?
About 40. About 44 years, I think.
Is he coaching in these teams?
No, sir. No, sir. Not in rec league, but he still assists at the high school level.
Yeah. Now let me tell you this. Now I'll let you go. Mike, I was went out. Your mom and I went to the Mexican place Saturday and had lunch. And when I walked in, one of the teams was there with the Presswood team was there. And they all got up, and they made me feel so good. They wanted their picture made with the big trophy they had just won. And the uniforms, the best-looking uniform I believe I've ever seen. And one of the players' mothers designed it. Did you see that uniform?
Oh, yes. That was, I believe that's our 11 and 12-year-old.
And it looked like a major league uniform, Michael. You just wouldn't believe the things that they're coming up with now. But that uniform just...
Dad, I do this for a living. I'm very aware.
I know you are. That's right. You sure are. But it was, the way they do the names on the back of the jersey. I mean, I'd fight to be on that team, and it's got to make them play harder,
Well, that's a great group of kids that played some great baseball and beat Enterprise. Enterprise won the first game, and then Troy came back and won the next two.
Enterprise hit 5 home runs in the first game. How do you come back after that? A team that hit 5 home runs, and then the next game you beat them 14-3.
Well, it's just fundamental baseball. Just hang in there and run the bases and get good pitching and hit.
And he's another one that's a fine coach. And Nelson's and the Presswoods.
Oh yeah, Josh Presswood does a great job. David Nelson does a great job. Yes, sir.
Oh man, no question about it. And we just can be so proud. Of course, are you glad you're moving back to Troy?
Oh, of course I am. Yes, very good.
Now you got a little boy coming up, don't you?
I do.
How old is he now?
He's 2.5.
And now your little girl is how old?
She'll be 7 in August.
Did you hear me when I said we've got a state tournament of 5 and 6-year-old girls? Gosh.
Mike, I'm going to let you and Bill.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Welcome to Trojan Detail.
Hey, I've been hunting. I got my truck filthy. Can you get it?
We surely can. We do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet and Troy Nissan.
You do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet?
Yes, we do.
Hey, I got a motorcycle.
We do them as well.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure do.
Billy Johnson. I know you're not bringing them cow trucks, okay?
I do, and they're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
I'm here at Trojan Detail getting my car detailed.
Bring your vehicle to Trojan Detail. We do it all.
Our huge Ford summer sale is going on right now at Pike County Ford, where you get the best discounts of the summer, 0% on most models. And that's on the #1 truck lineup, 41 years running, the Ford F-Series. You can count on huge savings on the all-new 2018 F-150 with total savings of $12,000. Plus, we have the Pike Promise. We'll beat your best price or give you $5,000. Stop by and find out why Pike County is Ford country.
He now goes to more state sales than anybody. Is my mom.
Yeah, sure do. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Rice has joined us, and of course Dan Smith. And ladies and gentlemen, he is one of the most humble people I've ever known. He has done so much with this recreation department and making it first class.
Well, you think he's from Troy, loves Troy, but he's multi-talented. I mean, he's as a great recreation director. I'm not exaggerating. He's one of the finest sports photographers in America.
Oh, yeah.
And he's an outstanding writer as well.
No question about it.
We are fortunate to have people like Dan Smith in Pike County.
Ladies and gentlemen, we lost one of our oldest citizens. Donald Dunbar passed away this week. In fact, his funeral, I think, is today. And what a wonderful man he was. He was a pillar in the First Baptist Church of Troy. And, of course, the Dunbar family had business in Troy for years and years, and of course he was a long time member of the Rotary Club, and Jim O'Neill said Dunbar was one of the most pleasant people he'd ever been around as far as talking about old Troy and all the history. And of course Bill Rice Jr. is on our show, and of course his dad knew Donald Dunbar well, didn't he?
Everybody of a certain age knew Mr. Dunbar.
And of course, Bill.
How old was Mr. Dunbar?
He was 90. Let's see. I want to say 90, but I could be wrong here.
I used to see him all the time when I'd come through Troy and have lunch at Sisters. He used to eat out at Sisters all the time.
Oh yeah, he sure did, no question. And of course, he was a great man and a long time family there in Troy. back, in the years where the Dunbars were had meals all over the town. We appreciate that. That's my coffee there. You must have just got to work. Because Scott, he's an Oregon guy. He's from Oregon, and
Is he a big Oregon State fan?
Yeah, he's a big Oregon State fan. But you know who his idol was, don't you?
No, who?
Prefontaine.
Yeah.
The runner.
Yeah.
Back in Oregon, the runner Prefontaine was the Mickey Mantle of their area. You know what I mean?
Track is huge in
it sure was.
Oregon.
No question about it.
A little company named Nike started in Oregon.
Yeah. Bill Rice has moved his family back to Troy, and you're going to have a giant sale coming up. Tell us about it.
Well, we're moving from Pike Road in 2 weeks, and
you're moving from where everybody wants to live.
Yeah, they don't need to be moving to Pike Road. They need to be going the other direction and staying put. But anybody that's interested, not doing anything Saturday, come up to Woodland Creek and Pike Road. Turn on Pike Road at the 28-mile cutoff of Highway 231. You'll intersect with Vaughn Road, the main drag in Montgomery.
Right there at the drugstore?
Yep. Turn right and go less than a mile. That's Woodland Creek. It's a Louder New Homes subdivision. Can't miss it. Follow the signs, and we're going to have a fantastic estate sale with all kind of stuff of my late mother and father's. Little something for all ages. Many different categories of items. If you want to see the pictures, go to estatesale.com. That's estatesale.com, and they got over 100 pictures in the info.
Well, I know this. Your mom was a great artist, and my wife wants to take a look at her art.
We'll have some of Mom's.
We have a lot of her art in my house now, and my wife wants more of it. She just loves your.
We got a lot of old. The reason I'm advertising a little bit in Pike County is because we got a lot of Troy and Pike County stuff, books, art, and pictures that will be available.
Yeah, Bill. I know your mom.
Are you just downsizing?
Yeah, we're going from going down about 700 square foot, and I just don't have space for.
But Mike, he's going to be living where all those rich folks in Troy live, Hillcrest. He was born right down the road, or raised right down the road. Is that right?
Whose house we're buying is Trisha Radcliffe. You were talking about Troy being the capital of the cloggers.
That's right.
She is the one that's.
Now she's not leaving Troy though, is she? She's going to stay in Troy, isn't she?
She's saying that she's moving to Heritage Ridge, and
I got you.
But so we're buying the house of the
Chip Colley's front yard.
When I was in high school, I used to always love to go there and mess up Shell Crow's shrubbery because it was too perfect.
But that was all.
One of my best friends is Blake Crow, and I always used to go there. I couldn't believe how good that yard looked over there.
Well, if you had a full-time yard man, yours would look that way too. But
it was just perfect.
Bill Rice, of course, is moving back to Troy to work with the Industrial Development Board here.
Yeah, and we talking about losing Mr. Dunbar. I'm working for Marcia Gaylord, and she lost her mother, Margaret Price.
She was 99 years old.
This weekend. And
what a wonderful lady.
Of course, the mother of Francis Davis and David Price. Yeah. And
you might can help us with this right here. Kemper financing is finalized. All right. Now, Kemper is moving a business here in Troy. What does this mean?
Well,
that everything's done and it's.
I think everything's. They're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. They're working the program and everything's right on schedule. But boy, I'm coming back to Pike County with some big economic development news, and the top story right now is Kimber Manufacturing locating in Troy, and then we've got Rex Lumber. Huge sawmill operation that's coming soon too.
Now, where is that located? Somebody told me they drove out there and they could not believe how huge this area was that they're developing.
I haven't even driven out there yet.
Where is it actually located?
It's out North Pike County. Going near Meeksville.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's going to be a major impressive operation as well.
Well, of course, I also want to mention that Kemper. This will bring all this back to you a little bit. Once again, we're happy to bring good news and good outcome for Troy. Rush Rice, who you know pretty well, your brother, the city's financial advisor, told the council at their work session Monday the financing will complete Troy's financial obligations to Kemper, who is a firearms company. Is that right?
That's right.
One of the largest in the world. Rice explained that the massive amount of money being given, up to $22.9 million, made it more unusual project to finance. And of course, this doesn't qualify for tax-exempt financing, Rice said. So we're in the bond marketing completion now. So more and more. And then the great thing about it is Troy is an A+ rated
bond rated.
So you don't get any better than that.
Well, that's pretty incredible. You got Martin Marietta already, and then you got Sikorsky, and then you got this place coming in. I mean, that's amazing for Pike County to have all of this.
Well, you got Kimber, and then you know what we take for granted probably is all the Sanders companies that are homegrown and several other. But there's in there a neat mix of industries that are world known, like Lockheed Martin, and then homegrown industries that have been so successful. And then you throw in a college as well. That's sets you apart from a lot of other communities.
From the distillery, I was at a local establishment in Birmingham the other day, and I saw some Spod May on the shelf. Is that still going to happen anytime soon?
Yeah, that's in the pipeline and going fine as far as I know too.
Are they going to break ground anytime soon?
You know, I don't know, Michael, when their groundbreaking is, but it's coming.
Okay.
Next time I'm on the show, I'll have an answer to that.
That's right. Of course, you know, you're moving back to Troy, and of course you lived in Montgomery for several years, and you know, Troy is a lot smaller town, but I don't know sometimes if it's not as much to do here as it is up there. There's so many things going on in our community all the time, especially because of Troy University and our facilities, our softball and our baseball facilities out at the rec center, the Troy University baseball and basketball and football facilities. Can't beat it.
I think the size of the community is a great selling point, because it's a town where you can make a difference. You can get to know everybody. They get to know you. You feel like you matter more. You're not just a number or lost. You know, it's not too big, but it's not too small.
Yeah.
You've got all the amenities you need, and then if there's a few things you don't think you have, you're not far from Montgomery.
No question. And I tell you what, you go out on the and you've already seen this because you work down 231 at the industrial park. But traffic down our Highway 231. But it enhances people to want to move their business here. We're getting a new Jack's Hamburgers. We've just got a new Cook-In. Cookout. And boy, their milkshakes are wonderful. If you haven't tried them, they're really good. But we're getting more and more. We've got a new bank, Cahaba Bank, coming. Will be opening soon. And of course, my good friend Grady Capps, and that's a wonderful bank, which is located in the Publix area there. And of course, we've got a new restaurant going on south or north of the old Holiday Inn, Mike, a place where we used to eat all the time. There used to be Country's Kitchen is opening up for business, and we've got another Meat and Three.
We've got some fantastic Meat and Threes. I mean, nationally state famous Meat and Threes.
And of course, the buffet.
I never thought growing up in Troy that Troy would have started moving towards Dothan more than Montgomery. That always just kind of surprised me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I always thought it would do the opposite too.
Well, let me tell you this.
But you know, Montgomery's kind of almost like 20 miles from Troy now. It seems like. You know, Montgomery's.
It doesn't take you long at least to get to the area where you lived.
40 minutes from Hillcrest or Heritage Ridge to my driveway.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, Bill, is old Troy. His mom and daddy grew up here. His daddy played at Alabama football on Bear Bryant's first national championship team. He sat right here many times. Mike, you've enjoyed the shows we used to have with Bill Rice.
Yeah, that was always some of my favorites.
And boy, he was also a local historian. Did some of that rub off on you? Some of the history?
It did, yes.
And of course, your mama and her family were the Chapman family, which is a well-known family in town. And of course, the Dunbars and these older families, the Woolfords, a lot of big families, the Collies, of course.
One of my claims to fame, and I say this jokingly, everybody remembers Brother Chapman.
That's right.
He was my mom's first cousin, but his sister Ann Chapman, she lives in Mountain Brook now. And you know what her name is? Her name is Ann Cox, and she is the aunt of Courtney Cox.
I did not realize
she is married to Courtney Cox's uncle. So I joked to everybody that I'm kin to Courtney.
Are you really?
Well, I guess okay. I'm kin to Ann Cox, and Ann Cox is Courtney Cox's aunt.
Cox Pools.
I don't know about that. Now, one of them married.
Her family owned Cox Pools. It started in Mount Brook, and then it was in Panama City Beach.
Exactly. There are a lot of Troy people in Birmingham. John Paul Musman and Margaret, who was Margaret McKinnon, lived there.
One of the biggest real estate companies, LLH.
Yeah, Jimmy Lawrence, from Troy, and Kathy, and there's a lot of.
Miller Gorey or Gorey Construction is probably the biggest company in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, his wife's from Troy.
Maybe one of the largest. It's a $1 billion company. The Gorey and
they're great philanthropists for the state of Alabama. And Mrs. Gorey grew up in Troy.
She was Pete Green's daughter. Pete Green and Johnny Green, of course, a good friend of mine. That was his sister.
Some of their kids, or at least one of their children, are members at Augusta National.
Oh, and that's something. We'll lay claim to them, won't we? Of course, the Browns.
The biggest house in Birmingham is owned by Crow. Sheryl Crow's brother.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Daryl Crow is well known up there.
Does he still have that lake house, that beautiful lake house at Lake Martin?
Yeah, he does.
It only took 4 years to build his house in Mountain Brook.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, it's the largest house in Mountain Brook. I mean, it's huge, huge. And I want to say it's 20,000 square feet, something like that. It's unreal. It's a big house.
I've been to some parties over there.
Of course, Cheryl, right here in Troy, that's his brother, and he's done pretty well too.
What a great family.
And you're right, a great family. And of course, Betsy Brantley lives up there, and she's a lot of these people are trying to bring back for the big class reunion. Bobby Howard lives there, who is your
Mom and Dad.
And he'll be coming back hopefully for this big event that we're having coming up in July. And of course, he and your dad were best friends growing up, and Bobby Howard and Tom Murphy and Buddy Brantley out of high school, and they played on the 1957 South Alabama Conference championship team. Those three left and went to VMI, and all three of them went to VMI. And believe it or not, all three of them played football at first. Yeah. And I think Tom's the only one that stuck with it. But and then of course Bobby became a fighter pilot, and Buddy was a well-known doctor, the late Buddy Brantley.
My doctor.
And then your dad, Tom Murphy had Murphy Bridge Company here in Troy for many years.
Well, what a fine family that is. I saw Susan Murphy the other day, bumped into her.
Now see, all of these people, you go to the grocery store, everybody says, Bill, are you back in Troy? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Rice is back in Troy.
And it's amazing. It feels like I never left, and then I get back late to the office sometimes because I go to the bank or a restaurant, and then I end up seeing somebody I haven't seen in 12 years and talking with them for 15 minutes.
Of course, you and your dad owned a newspaper for a long time, and I used to write for that company, and I love that paper.
That was a lot of fun in some respects.
First Citizen, what was it?
The Troy Citizen. It was a weekly paper that we operated for about 7 or 8 years.
And I used to like to write for y'all. Y'all were a lot of fun to be around, and your mama was a good writer.
One of these days, I'm going to compile some of her columns into a book. It was called Minute Rice. They were kind of in the vein or genre of Irma Bombeck, if certain people remember her humorous short columns.
Yeah, that's right.
But they were fantastic, and if I could take about 40 or 50 of them and put them in a book, I bet people would buy it.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great paper for a long time. But Bill's back working with economic development and helping our city grow. And Marcia Gaylord, of course, does a great job. Jimmy Lunsford, former mayor, had all kinds of knowledge.
Boy, does he.
You're going to be sitting in a situation to be able to learn a lot about economic development.
I'm learning it from two of the greats. So it is a wonderful opportunity for me. Marcia's been in it for decades, and then so is Jimmy. He knows everything about it too. So it's no accident that we're getting some of these projects. But every time I brag about Marcia, she says, it's a team effort. She's right. There are so many people that come together to make a big announcement. So I hope we keep having that great team effort.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so glad you came. Of course, he's going to be sitting in on Wednesdays with us, and we're going to enjoy having him with us. And, of course, great friend is back in town, and, of course, hope that you'll go by and see him, and or if you see him along the run. Now, where will you be attending your church services here in Troy? Have you decided which one?
Probably. I grew up in the Episcopal Church, but we've become Methodists, so probably First Methodist. We haven't made a final decision.
Well, they're both two great churches, no question about it. We're, again, glad you're back in town. We'll, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big cake auction tomorrow to raise money for this baseball team that's heading to the state championship. So call in and be a part of tomorrow's show. And we look forward to seeing you again today at 1:30 right here on Channel 2 in Troy, Alabama. See you then.